what I was going to do, if you're okay, is just ask each of you to introduce yourself, the name of your film, and just tell us a little bit about it. Really, what you want audiences to sort of know about the film before it is screened then in Cinemagic. So is it okay? We'll start with Alexandra.
Yes.
Okay.
So hi, my name's Alex Shipman. I made the Cromer special, which is about two girls. One works in a chip shop on Christmas Day and her friend comes along to hang out with her. And they're sort of chatting, and then the school teacher that one of them has a crush on turns up. So they then try and figure out how to deal with that, I guess. It's meant to be a sort of really fun, upbeat, kind of slightly larger than life style. It's not the kind of realism or anything like that. It's just meant to be like real good fun is what we wanted the film to sort of have.
And as a filmmaker, did you and your crew have fun making it, or did you have any challenges that you had to meet along the way?
Oh yeah, there was lots. There was actually a tornado the weekend we were filming it. We had a lot. Yeah, so we did have a lot of fun, and it was very much like a passion project for us. We were like a crew of 5, including the actors. So everyone was just sort of making it together, which was fun. But it just meant when a tree fell down over a road, it meant basically the whole crew couldn't get there because there were only 5 of us. So that was quite fun. But yeah, no, we all had a good laugh making it as well, which is nice.
And can you just tell audiences, did you make it during lockdown, or was it all filmed before 2020's activity?
Yeah. Most of it was filmed pre-lockdown, but then we were meant to do a series of exteriors, which we weren't able to. So we ended up doing graphics. So we changed it to be like that. The inspiration was the opening to Mean Girls. Those kind of graphics where it's like scrapbooky. So we did that and used like fan footage instead, and not fan footage, archive footage and stuff like that. So it was sort of like we just did that instead. So it kind of hindered us, but in the end I actually kind of preferred that, as it gave the film like quite cool aesthetic.
Super. So you had a lot of things, curveballs that were thrown your way in terms of trees and lockdown and everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's really great. And was this have you been involved in making films for a while, or is this sort of like a new venture for you?
It's a new fiction venture. I worked as a camera assistant in documentaries, and then I started shooting a few documentaries. But I'd always sort of been interested in fiction, so it's my first proper fiction film. So that was kind of fun to sort of experiment and actually have actors and being able to manipulate the situation instead of just sort of turning up and filming it, which was quite nice. So yeah, it's my first fiction film basically.
Well, congratulations on the game. That is brilliant, and we look forward to sharing your film with audiences as part of the showcase in October. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Over to Lisa now. You're very welcome, Lisa. Thank you
Hiya.
for the time to join us today. So Lisa, can you tell us a little bit about your film and how it came to be, and sort of what you want audiences to know about it?
Yeah, so my name is Lisa Emily Petersen, and Platonic is my film. It's my graduation film made with lots of other students from Edinburgh Napier University. We were lucky enough to finish filming before lockdown. And Platonic is the story of Dee, who's a 21-year-old waitress who used to be in the army. And we see her working this really busy New Year shift, and then throughout this get some flashbacks and to some stuff that happened while she was in the army with her friend Isaac. My co-writer and I were talking about how you can be 17 in this country and be figuring out all your teenage love dilemmas, but you can also be sent to war, because that's how the army works here. So that was kind of our starting point, and then we decided to kind of tell the story retrospectively through these flashbacks as well.
Brilliant. And how then, as a crew, did you collaborate? I know if it was part of your uni film, you might have been thrown together, but, was that collaboration with other students and filmmakers something that you enjoyed being able to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was lucky enough, actually, the guy that I developed the story with, who was also my editor and my AD, we worked on our very first university film together and have worked on pretty much every film over the 4 years. So it was really nice to be able to end 4 years making another film together. And yeah, then we had a couple of third year students on board. We had a couple of people who were just out from wherever in the world. It was really great. I think we ended up with a crew of more than 30, which is really cool, seeing so many people come together to care about our little story.
Well, that is super. Thank you. Thanks for giving us that insight, Lisa. Thank you. Over to Nimra. Hi there. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Hi. So my name's Nimra, and my film's called Perspective, and I wrote and I directed it. So the film's actually, it's a micro short film which challenges stereotypes and misconceptions that we often have of other people, and it creates awareness about the subject of Islamophobia. It uses the experience of a young Muslim girl, played by Nia Deacon. Her name is Khadija in the film, and she experiences hate from a stranger in the park. The woman called Sharon is uncomfortable by her presence over there. It's a community park, and she's kind of uncomfortable by the presence of this woman there, and she starts playing with a young girl, and she goes out of her way to tell her absent-minded father to stop her from playing with this Muslim girl. And that's the whole scenario, and that's what the film is about. And yeah, that's what the whole thing is about.
Thank you, Nimra. And what was it like for you then, working, I suppose, then with the crew, but I suppose with the cast, having a little young person as well to act and that sort of relationship and the dynamics of that, I suppose, for what you needed for the film?
Actually, yeah, that's a very good question, because it was actually my first. I haven't directed before, so it's my first ever. I haven't written or directed before, so the first time. She's really, really good. The actor, she's really good. Her name's Petersen, and she took the direction really, really well. And it was kind of challenging to her, because the story is so powerful and it really, really means a lot to me. And all the actors, when they came together and they made the story, they really kind of took the script and they put so much dedication into it. Even the little girl, like even her just doing all of that she did, she actually put so much into it. She took the direction so well that I was just so proud of her just doing all of that. And she hasn't acted before. She's only done like a few plays at school, and the man who's playing her dad is actually her dad. So he was very so it was kind of a bit easier for us to like kind of navigate the whole situation, because it was her dad. But yeah, so they were really, really very dedicated to the project. The actors were really dedicated, and the whole crew was.
Well, that's brilliant, and a big well done, especially as a first time writer and director for it, and certainly a very powerful message in the film, and hopefully now at Cinemagic as well it will reach newer and wider audiences for that. So thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you, thanks a million. Over now to Kieran, please. Hi Kieran, how's it going?
Hello, you all right?
Yes, thanks for joining us. Just tell us the name of your film and a little bit about it and how it came to be as such.
Yeah, so my film is called Bulldog. It's about a rough sleeper who, after spending a night in a cell, has a score to settle. So it's a very kind of simple narrative. The idea of the film was to kind of make a short film that was completely visual, with no dialogue, and take an audience on a very kind of cinematic experience, very visceral and whatnot. So it's kind of a simple film in nature, but hopefully with a lot of kind of interesting kind of themes throughout it, in terms of how we judge people based off who they are, where they come from and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the main nucleus of the film.
And with that as the theme, is that something that you really want to get across to audiences? What would be your hopes, in terms of people's reaction, seeing the film then and getting that sort of theme across?
Well, I think the idea of the film was really to kind of set up a narrative using kind of certain cinematic tropes like the thriller genre and whatnot, and then pairing that with a character, kind of a rough sleeper who kind of, I think, people can kind of jump to conclusion with those kind of people and who they are and why they're where they are, why they are in life and whatnot. And I think like it was kind of this idea of kind of, can we kind of set up a story using certain kind of tropes and whatnot that will kind of take the audience on a journey of thinking one thing and then the end is completely different. So it was kind of trying to see if people would jump to conclusion based on someone, based off who they are and whatnot. So yeah.
Excellent. And did you have a lot of time for the actual shoot, or was it something that you found yourself having more time with over the last few months?
Well, we shot it before lockdown. Actually, it was like last year we shot it, and it was kind of very small crew, low budget. The first film I did out of university, so it's kind of almost going back to the drawing board, I guess, because at university we had all the kind of resources and facilities and whatnot. So it was kind of going back to like not having anything really other than kind of the people that I knew. So it was very kind of resourceful kind of idea that we tried to shoot really cheaply and without compromising on kind of style and whatnot and kind of story and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of a very 2-day shoot, very very quick and very kind of resourceful and whatnot.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. We were just chatting about that as well at Cinemagic, how so many people and filmmakers are finding it difficult to make film at the moment, and like there's barriers in terms of production, but at the same time you guys have been able to produce things and keep things simple, and if there's a good story and a good theme and something to tell, there's ways and means around things, and as you say, being resourceful. So thank you. That's brilliant. Thanks a lot. Over to Sasha then. Thanks a million for joining us, Sasha.
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me. My name's Sasha. My film is called Howl, and it's about two sisters, Sal and Jo, who are arguing about which of them should look after their grandma's dog after she passed away recently. And it's a sort of tragic comedy, or supposed to be, and is really sort of I hope an audience would sort of get a truthful and hopefully funny kind of take on the bewildering force of grief with a sort of backdrop of sisterhood.
Super, that is a brilliant synopsis of it. Really good as well, just so audiences can get that little overview and summary of it. And was it something, was this an idea that you had for a long time? How did it then sort of come to be when you were like, right, let's get this made?
I'd had the idea to do it a while ago, and then shot it in lockdown. So I was pretty lucky that I was furloughed, so I was at home, and I had my sister and I play the sisters in the film, so sort of just thought that would be the perfect time to kind of get creative, and it's sort of loosely inspired by our experience, but sort of had creative license with it as well. So it was really fun to make it happen in lockdown.
Brilliant. Yes, and that's the sort of time stamp on it as well, you can say that was one of, I'm sure, lots of accomplishments over lockdown. So thank you for being able to get it made and get it submitted to the festival. That's super. Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you. Thanks.
So last but not least, hi Ben, thanks for joining us today.
Hello. Hi Claire.
How's it going? Thanks so much for getting involved. Just a little overview, what inspired you to make the film and how it came to be.
Yeah, sure. So this actually happened to me. I work in casting for TV commercials, and somebody came in, and there was obviously something personal behind this kind of basic situation that they were being made to play that would otherwise seem quite banal. And it just put a hook in me, and I started thinking about it, and I wrote it down as an idea, and about 6 months later it kind of came out as this short film.
And is it something then, in terms of the message, I suppose, that you want to get across? Is that something that you have hopes for, with entering festivals and things like that? Like, how far and wide do you want, you want the film to reach?
Yeah, sure. I mean, truthfully, I wouldn't say I went out with it with a particular message.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a fascinating bit of behavior that happened at the time, and I thought, oh, that would make a really interesting film. Kind of got me thinking about the audition process and what's required of an actor, and the concept of actor baggage, and thinking of that kind of as a derogatory term. But then again, it's a profession. You're required to put your personal life outside of the role that you're playing. So I guess it's just exploring that contradiction.
That's brilliant. And that's the thing as well, like everyone brings their own sort of personal experiences and sort of what they're used to a film. And certainly you've all been so accomplished in doing that, like in terms of, Nimra being this is your first time writer director, Alex going into like a new genre for the first time, like I think it's just so important that, it's not like tunnel vision in terms of the films that you make or the themes or the genres, and whatever's you find that you are passionate about is getting that down. And I suppose then as you go along there could be a pattern in the type of work that you do and messages that you create, but I think that's brilliant in terms of how versatile you've all been, and bringing and making your own stamp on these particular ones.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.